Hello, Buckeye Nation. We've come to the end of the season, and what a ride it has been. That Peach Bowl was one heck of a game, and while it still stings to lose the game by 1 point, the Buckeyes played in a way that should leave us all feeling proud. They showed the world that they deserve to be there, playing on the same stage as the defending national champs, and they almost took them down. Let's get into that and more right after the intro. Welcome to Buckeye Football Fangirl. If this is your first time here, my name is Lisa, and I'm the gal behind this channel. This will be my last video in a while, and I'm gonna miss rooting for this Buckeye football team with all you crazies. I hope you know, I call you crazies in the most endearing way possible, because we're all a little insane when it comes to our Buckeye football. But I love you all for it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I always take a break during the off season to work on other personal projects and goals, but I will hopefully be back fangirling again for the 2023 Ohio State football season. That was a crazy, intense, down to the very last possible second football game that we just saw. I was feeling all the emotions going into the game, and I felt them all during the game too. But now I'm left with just a mix of sadness and gratitude. Sadness because none of us wanted the ride to be over, especially when it looked like the Buckeyes could have and maybe should have won that game. Also sadness because I'm going to miss talking Buckeye football with all of you here and on Twitter. And gratitude because after the lowest point of the season, that loss to TTUN, the Buckeyes came into this game on fire, and they played ball in the way that we've all been wanting to see them play. I've said this before, but I am extremely grateful that they had a chance to sneak into the Peach Bowl, and I'm grateful that we got to see this team play their best game of football this year. This season has been full of the highs and the lows for us fans, and I thought it would be appropriate to talk about some of the highs and lows of the Peach Bowl as a way to kind of wrap everything up. I'd love to hear what your highs and lows were throughout the game, so go ahead, drop me a comment below with those. Let's start with a high. Stroud absolutely balled his butt off in that game. With that play, Stroud cemented his legacy as a fighter in my mind. He played with the most ferocity and intensity that I've ever seen him play. His passes were almost immaculate, and that bomb to MHJ in the end zone was a heck of a throw, which MHJ almost came down with if not for that dirty, nasty hit from that Bulldog defender. Just gonna leave that there. CJ moved around to escape pressure and used his legs to extend plays like we've never seen before. He had 8 different runs for 71 yards. 71 yards from a quarterback that everyone had labeled as one-dimensional. Stroud showed us all that he is a dog in every sense of the word, and he played his heart out. Another high from the game was that this team kept pushing until the very end, despite losing several key players to injury during the game. Seems like losing key players to injury has unfortunately been the theme of this season, and this game was no exception. Despite that, they continued to play their hearts out. They didn't throw their hands up in the air and give up. No, they followed the next man up mentality, and we saw players step up to the plate. Now, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about a couple of those lows. The first low for me was Marvin Harrison Jr. getting knocked out of the game. That absolutely broke my heart. For someone who practices as hard as he does, that is just the worst. I mean, he is basically the definition of hard work. People make jokes about the jugs machine being his girlfriend because he practices so much. And you could tell it was absolutely killing him, sitting there on the bench, unable to go in and help his teammates out. It was a game changer, but we are blessed as Buckeye fans that he is coming back for another year and that we will get to see him play all next year. Whoever lines up for quarterback is going to have fun throwing to him and Emeka and Fleming if he comes back for another year. Another low is obviously they lost the game. After that incredible play, they still lost. And there were enough what if enough moments in the game that this one will haunt us fans for a while. I feel like they could have and should have won that game. You may or may not feel the same. However, it sucks to be so stinking close and not be able to pull out the W. The only consoling fact is that Georgia is a really good team, and I have to tip my hat to the talent and the effort that we saw on the field from them. That was a great game that didn't have the outcome we wanted, and that seems to be the story of this season, really. So much talent, so much potential, and yet just not able to get it done. This could be an extremely depressing thought. However, I'm going to choose to wrap this season up in my heart and in my mind, grateful for every moment of joy that this football team has given us. There will be another Buckeye football team next year, and hopefully at this time next year, we'll be getting excited because they have a chance to play in the national championship game. But that's just not how the cards fell for the team this year. However, I am freaking grateful that we got to watch this group of talented young men play all season long. And I want to relive a few of my favorite moments from the year. CJ Stroud in this game is absolutely one of my favorite moments. Then there's also Marvin Harrison Jr.'s mind-boggling leg bend to get his foot down in bounds with that catch. JT having the game of his life and exploding during the Penn State game is definitely up there too. And my absolute favorite moment of all was that Kamryn Babb touchdown catch. It's really, really hard to top the depth of emotion that we all felt after that. What were some of your top moments from this season? I would love to hear them. So please leave me a comment below. Even though we didn't get the ending that we all wanted, it was still an incredibly special season. Thank you all who have been along for the ride with me and have tuned into these videos. I'm looking forward to hopefully fangirling with you all again in the near future. And with that, this Buckeye Football Fangirl is signing off. I'll see you all after the off season. OH.
Buckeye!